Welcome to the show. I'm Dumais, and I'm in Bangkok. I'm also the official podcaster of the SHL. Playing Hockey, episode 51. Now, before I get into this episode, I have two things I need to talk about. First, I need to apologize because in episode 50, I talked about how Niall was going to be here. Now, unfortunately, Niall couldn't be here today for whatever reason. Maybe because he is a bit scared. We're gonna discuss the UFC and mixed martial arts, and maybe he felt he couldn't handle talking to me about that for whatever reason, or maybe he had a dental appointment. I don't know. Next time he's on, we'll talk to him more about that. Also, I needed to tell you that I'm playing with a few different ideas on how I'm setting up my mics and how I'm laying out my studio. Seeing how the sound is, seeing how things look, and things like that. So if you don't like how it looks or you don't like how it sounds, please let me know and I'll make changes. But anyway, on with the episode. Now, I've talked about ice skating in general in a prior episode, and that was ice skating in Thailand. That was episode 17, and you can find that at domdumas.com/17. I also talked a little bit about hockey and ice skating in a later episode when I was interviewed by Karsten, and that was in episode 21. And you can find that at domdumas.com/21. And I also talked about my hockey career, I guess you could say, and that was in hockey and NHL, and that was episode 23. And you can find that at domdumas.com/23. But I want to talk a little bit more about why I kind of stopped playing hockey. I feel I didn't kind of fully talk about stopping. After my mother had passed away and I moved in with my dad full time, I was at the high school level. It was in 1987 and 88 that I moved in with my dad the second time, and I kind of felt I was already done with hockey. I don't know. I just didn't want to play at the high school level, I guess. That was part of it. I felt like I wanted to more pursue being a wrestler and work on doing professional wrestling things and possibly trying to set up my own promotion. And he kind of... We didn't see eye to eye on that, really. He kind of wanted me to play hockey, so I played hockey. I did what I could, but also that coach for that year, 87, 88, he and I just did not see eye to eye. We were two polar opposites when it came to playing hockey, and for me personally, when it comes to playing hockey, or when it comes to anything that I like to do as a pleasure, when it stops becoming fun, I just don't like to, I won't do it anymore. So, like, at that time, hockey had, like I said, stopped being fun, and with that coach, we just really didn't see eye to eye on a lot of things hockey related. So, I probably should have just quit or had a better discussion with my dad about it, but I did the dumb thing, and I purposely failed off the team. And then in 88, 89, the year I was graduating, my dad kind of forced me to play hockey again. And again, I really didn't want to play, and they had a new coach. So I decided, well, I'll give it a try, And again, he and I, we're polar opposites. I'm a very defensive hockey player, and he was a very aggressive-minded hockey player. And again, we just didn't see eye to eye, and hockey wasn't fun. And I think I did the wrong thing again. And, and I purposely failed off the ice hockey team. And I paid for it later, obviously. But, and it was like hockey just wasn't fun anymore. And I also had kind of felt like I'd reached my highest level. I didn't see myself going on to playing college hockey or even like playing junior hockey. I mean, I don't know. I just didn't see myself doing that. At that point in time, I was really kind of more focused on professional wrestling, which obviously, as you can tell, didn't pan out for me. Oh, well. But, that's okay. I mean, I felt like at that time my hockey career was kind of done anyway. I didn't have the desire to play anymore, and I think most of that stemmed from the fact that I wasn't happy playing hockey. for whatever reason, because I was being forced to play, or I didn't agree with the coaches, or I don't know. I wasn't having fun. And then I got back into watching hockey, and I love watching hockey. And then I talked about the Bangkok Ice Hockey League, when Tracy and I went to go watch a local ice hockey game for the Bangkok Ice Hockey League. And you can find that episode. I talked about that in episode 31, and you can find that at domdumas.com/31. Now, when I talked about it on the podcast, and I did a little vlog about it, that led me to John Sheknovsky, the president of the Siam Hockey League, contacting me. And, they were just getting ready to start their inaugural season. It was a brand new hockey league. And he wanted me to be a part of that in my specialty, I guess you could say, as being a podcaster. And I don't know I don't know if you heard that or not. I just had a really weird noise. I don't know what that was. But anyway, I'll probably cut that out. So he talked to me about being the podcaster, the official podcaster for the Siam Hockey League, at least for the inaugural season, to see how it works out. And his plan wasn't that I would go to every game, but when I did go to games, I would talk to the Rolling Stone Pizza Player of the Game. I don't think it was called. They had decided that's what it was going to be called, but he was going to talk about the game MVP. When I was there, I would talk to the game MVP or the Player of the Game. And also what I would do every week is I would have a little segment of my podcast where I would talk about the Siam Hockey League. And to be totally honest, I kind of took that and ran with it. And I just enjoyed being at the rink. I enjoyed being around all those guys, the hockey players. And, they were such a nice group of guys. And, so I was interviewing them after the games. I ended up going to almost every single game for the Siam Hockey League in their inaugural season. And it was just like watching, but the thing about it was watching these guys play and listening to them after the game and listening to them before the game and talking with a lot of them and getting to know a lot of them. It reminded me about what hockey was supposed to be about. And at least for me, and hockey is meant to be fun. So it kind of, watching them play and listening to them and talking to them, it kind of started to rekindle that fire of playing ice hockey again. I couldn't believe it. I was like, am I really am I going to play ice hockey? Do I want to even get back into it? Wow. And it's really like something really, it's expensive just to get started again. You have to buy all of the equipment. And I'm not talking about like in soccer, European football, where you just need to buy a pair of cleats, a pair of shorts, and a T-shirt, and you're good to go. Or futsal, where you just need a pair of futsal shoes and a pair of shorts and little tiny shin guards. Do you know what I mean? So it's not like that, and it's not like American football, where you need a pair of cleats and you need a mouth guard and you need to buy a cup, and they supply everything else. To start playing hockey, you need ice skates. You need shin pads, like full-size shin pads that go from just above the knee to the top of the ankle. You need, as we call them in Minnesota, breezers, or as everybody else I have recently found out, they call them hockey pants. You need hockey socks. You need your cup, obviously, like you do in most contact sports. You need something to hold your socks up. Usually it's a type of garter, or nowadays I found out that they have a pair of kind of like shorts that hold the sock. They have Velcro on them that hold the shorts up. You need to buy elbow pads. You need gloves. You need a helmet. You need a mouth guard, and you need a jersey. And some guys, they go as far as getting shoulder pads, but of course in Thailand their hockey is supposed to be a non-checking, so you don't really need shoulder pads. So that stuff's not cheap, especially when you look at ice skates. A brand new pair of ice skates, yes, you can get a pair for like $100. Do you know what I mean? But if you want a decent pair of ice skates, you're looking at like $200, $300, $400 for a brand new pair. Now, one of the good things is, at least in America, there's lots of secondhand or used equipment shops. A good example of this is Play It Again Sports. Now, I looked at ice skates here in Thailand. I looked at a pair of secondhand ice skates, and they wanted almost as much as a brand new pair of skates. So I was like, I can't afford that. But one of the nice things about the hockey organization here in, I guess you could call it the Flying Farangs. One of the good things about them is they're such a generous group. They are always giving to hockey players. They're giving back to the society. They're doing lots of things for everybody. And if somebody is a hockey player or wants to get into hockey, usually a Farang, which means, Farang just means foreigner, they will help them out as best they can. So if there's extra equipment, they'll get them their equipment, hockey pants, shin pads, elbow pads. Usually the only thing that somebody has to buy is a pair of ice skates. Now, some people get lucky, and there are ice skates laying around, secondhand ice skates, where they're their size or whatever. But I have a larger foot, so they didn't have it. But so I had Lance. Lance was wonderful. He got me a hockey stick. He got me gloves. He got me shin pads. Now, granted, these were all a little bit small, but it was a start. And then, Scott Murray, I guess you could call him the president of the Flying Farangs. He helped me out. He got me a pair of hockey pants. He got me a helmet. So there was just a few things that I needed to get when I went back to America, because I decided, I was going to do it. I was going to get a pair of ice skates, and whatever they could get me, I would use that. And what happened is when I went to America this past April to visit my kids, one of the things I looked at, obviously, was to get a pair of ice skates. And I didn't want to spend $400 on a pair of ice skates. So I was going to get a very cheap pair. I was looking at spending between $100 and $150. And my dad convinced me to go to Play It Again Sports. Now, there used to be a Play It Again Sports in Camp Hill, Pennsylvania. But since I've been gone, it has it has closed. But I found out that there was one. So I found out how to get there, and I called them, and I was like, look, I'm looking for a pair of skates, size 9. Do you have any? And the guy's like, yeah, somebody just brought a pair in. When are you going to come in? I said, I'll be in on Tuesday. He said, if you're going to come in, I'll put them back for you. What's your name? So I told him my name, and he's like, great, I'll hold them for you. And I said, well, do you have any other kind of skates? And he's like, yeah, we have all kinds of skates. You just have to kind of check to see what size they are. But I'm going to put this pair back for you because they just came in and they're in really good condition. I said, all right, great. So I went there. Yeah, they had skates. And I tried them on. They fit really good. They felt like they had hardly been used. So I was like, great, yeah, I'll take these, And I checked them out. I looked them up, and they're like $400 pair of skates. I got them for like $50. Woohoo! Saved lots of money there. So I checked out gloves, because the pair Lance got me, they were, like I said, they were a little bit small. Okay, they got some fairly, decent gloves for fairly cheap. I got a pair of those. I saw some secondhand elbow pads. Not quite my size, but they were close. I need those anyway, so, I got a pair. Again, they were, like I said, they were secondhand, so they were quite cheap. I got a hockey bag. I got socks. I got hockey jerseys. Everything I got really cheap. So I was all pretty much set. So when I came back, I bought a mouth guard, obviously, and I was set. And I came back to Thailand, and I started skating. And, it was coming close to the first shinny hockey, and I was so nervous. It was like I haven't held a hockey stick in almost 30 years. I haven't shot a puck in almost 30 years, or a tennis ball, or anything with a hockey stick. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe how nervous I was. I was like, am I going to make a complete fool of myself? So, all right, and this is all that's going through my head just as Tracy and I are sitting there waiting for my first game. I don't think I've been that nervous for anything. Maybe for my first belt test, but still, it was like, I don't think I was even that nervous for my first belt test. So, and I was like, it's been 30 years since I've played hockey. Man, what's it going to be like? I mean, I've skated, so I knew I could still skate. But it is completely different to be skating in equipment with a bunch of other people. You're trying to get down the ice, and you want to. Just the different things that you do in playing hockey is not just ice skating. There's so much more involved. So anyway, so I got dressed way early, just, so I guess because I was so nervous. I don't know. But anyway, so I get dressed, and it's like, and I'm like wandering around. It's like, I'm so early. Everybody else is like kind of looking at me like, wow, you're like super early. The rink's not even clean yet. But I saw Scott. I talked to Scott a little bit, and I gave Scott the money for the shinny hockey. Shinny hockey just means like pickup hockey. So, and they split it. He splits everybody up into teams, and he said, okay, this is gonna be your partner. Actually, I think he was my partner the first time. And he said, don't worry about it. You're gonna be fine. And I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. I'm gonna do my best. And then, you know what? As soon as the game started, just all those fears went away. Now, yes, I was not any type of superstar. I feel I did not too bad for somebody who hadn't played hockey in 30 years. And talking to a few of the guys, they said, yeah, you couldn't tell it's been 30 years. Wow, you did quite well. And then after the game, I felt like such a relief had been lifted off my shoulders. I got that first game done. Whew, that's great. And then the second game, there was no nervousness. It was like, woohoo, I can't wait to play again. And I did better than my first game, and then my third game I did better than my second game. And then we had some time off because the rink was booked for Thursday night. It's Thursday nights at 8:30. We have shinny hockey for an hour and a half. So anybody in Bangkok, if you're listening, if you're looking to play some shinny hockey, come on out. We're always looking for that. We're looking for more people. But so it's like the whole fear just kind of went away. And then, I found out that this shinny on Thursday was canceled for this 1 week. But the following Monday, the Siam Hockey League were having kind of an elite shinny where it's a little bit invite only, and then it was invite only for what they felt were the best players. And then because they didn't have enough people, they opened it up to everybody who was a part of the Siam Hockey League. And they asked me if I wanted to play. And I was like, I don't know if I'm good enough, but yeah, I'll give it a go, And I had such a blast. Now, we didn't have a lot of people, and there were 8 guys per side. So we had 5 guys on the ice and 3 guys sitting in the box. And you just kind of, when somebody came out, you went out. When somebody came off the ice, you went out and you played. But it was so much fun. And I'd say I was the weakest, in my opinion. I was the weakest player on the ice, but that's okay. It was an experience, and I had such a blast, and I got to skate with a lot of the guys from the Siam Hockey League, guys like Adrian Myers, and it was fun being defenseman with Patrick Lundbeck, John Chiknovsky. John was on the other side. He was on the other team. Go figure. And it was just so much fun. And it is a different type of shinny hockey. I mean, they keep score. They have a time clock. Do you know what I mean? So, and then you have a goaltender, and the goaltender stays in each team. Do you know what I mean? So, but it was so much fun. And then, we haven't had enough people that were interested. We didn't have enough people who were interested the following week for the elite shinny, but then we had the Thursday night shinny started up again. So I've been playing shinny hockey every Thursday night. Well, almost every Thursday night. There are a few times where the rink is booked for something so we can't play, and they have to take care of, they have booked it for somebody else, but that's okay. And, oh my God, I have to tell you, being back out on the ice, first, just skating in my own pair of skates and breaking in my skates was so much fun. And it was just like feeling the wind through my hair. Granted, I was wearing a hat, but just being out on the ice and skating and moving around, it was great. And then when it came to play hockey, the first game I was really nervous, and after the first game I felt like it was such a big load being lifted off my shoulders. I was playing hockey and I didn't have to worry about the next game. But it was just like playing was so much fun. And every week I'm looking forward to it. Now, I'm not sure if there's going to be hockey this week, but we do. But that part of that is because we have somebody from the NHL coming to Thailand. That's Johnny Oduya, and I plan on doing an interview with him. Hopefully, that'll be good. If I can get it. Anyway, the Christian Olofsson, you saw him on the podcast. He said, yeah, it would be great if I could interview him. So I'm going to see if I can do that. But it's been so much fun. And Tracy's been great about all of this. As a matter of fact, she comes to every shinny. Now, she didn't go to the last one because she's in England, but she's come to every shinny hockey on Thursday. She didn't come to the Monday one. On Thursday. And she records them for me so I can watch them. And hopefully using those videos, I will get better. And I've decided to upload them to YouTube. Not all of them, but the last two, because we have really worked out the kinks of recording a hockey game here in Thailand with my GoPro. I have a stand that swivels back and forth for it. And so actually we're going to use that for the Siam Hockey League and possibly live stream a few of the games on Facebook next season. But I still got to talk more about that with the Siam Hockey League guys. But anyway, if you want to watch me play hockey, now I'll be absolutely honest. Watching a bunch of old guys, well, not old guys, but watching a bunch of guys play shinny hockey for an hour and a half with no commentary is not going to be the most exciting thing. But if it's something you're interested in, I'm going to put a link in the show notes to that particular channel. I'm not putting it on the Dom Dumais channel, but it's going to be Dom Plays Hockey or Dom Does Hockey. I forget what it's called. But anyway, I'll put a link to that in the show notes. So if you want to check out those games, you can check out those games. And I will also, any SHL game that I record will be on the SHL channel, but I'll also put them in that on that channel for Dom Does Hockey. Another thing is what I'm hoping for. This is what I'm really hoping for is now I started playing hockey, and it was by the time I decided, it might be a lot of fun to play in a league. I decided, well, if the Bangkok Ice Hockey League has any openings, I'll play for that. And I've kind of put some feelers out there. Now, unfortunately for me, this season is already pretty much booked up for everybody, which is fine. I'm okay with that. And hopefully I'll get invited to play on one of the teams next season. That would be great. Now, John and Scott have kind of showed interest in me playing for the Siam Hockey League, but we've also made an agreement prior to this that I would be taking over admin because Alex has decided his wife got a job in Singapore. Sorry, I don't know why that slipped my head. But anyway, so he's moving to Singapore. Now he'll be coming back to take care of tournaments and stuff like that. But for the admin for the Siam Hockey League, they asked me if I'd be interested in doing that. And absolutely. So that's my objective, is to take care of that. And I think I've got some pretty big shoes there and trying to do to try to take over what Alex was doing. And not take over, but to follow in his footsteps. And he did such a phenomenal job last year for the Siam Hockey League. So I've got some really big shoes there to fill. But anyway, playing hockey, it's been so much fun just getting back into it. Now, I'm nothing spectacular, and I'm nowhere near one of the best guys. I don't even say I'm in the middle of the pack. I'm probably in the top half of the lower half, the top portion of the lower half of the players, but I get better and better every week that I play, and it's so much fun. And I appreciate the fact that Scott has put so much work into the Flying Farangs organization, and we have this we have the shinny hockey on Thursday nights. It's so much fun. But I think I'm going to end this podcast here. I hope I haven't bored you too much with me rambling on about hockey, but I want you to always remember, if you have anything that you think that would be fun to try again, absolutely do it. Doesn't matter what it is. Give it a go, because no matter how bad you are, it's just a good feeling to give it a go. And who knows, maybe you'll end up start doing it again like on a regular basis. But all right, thanks a lot. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
If you ever want to try with a penguin, let me know.
Sorry?
If you ever want to try with a penguin, let me know.
Testing. Not sure if my audio is working. Yeah, I think it is because I can see the little bars picking up. So I'm gonna guess. There's only 2 bars of this as well. Oh, geez, I feel like amateur hour. Batteries, 2 cameras, both with dead batteries. Half a battery left in my mic, and I thought I was working with a professional, but obviously I'm not. I love you. That's for you, Dom. So here I am at Dom's rink, which is the rink where Dom does his vlogging from when he does the videos of the SHL, and it's the rink in Rama 9, Central Rama 9 department store, and it has a rink on the top. It's very nice. I think it's supposed to be the only, I don't know, full-size rink in Bangkok, but I could be wrong, so I obviously shouldn't be the person talking about this. And Dom is skating, so I thought I would, as he brought his equipment, his vlogging, audio, video equipment here, I thought I'd pass a bit of time by making a recording of him skating and some thoughts of my own while he is entertaining himself on the ice. So first I'm just going to film a little bit of him skating around, and I'll talk over that, and then maybe I'll come back and talk to the camera again a little bit. It's really weird because when I do my own vlogging I have a camera set up so that it has a me facing screen. So this time I'm using the GoPro and I can't see myself, so I find it really much harder to look at the camera for some reason, so I can feel like my eyes trying to turn away, and that's really weird, but I'm just going to keep talking in the hope that eventually I'll get used to it and not look like a complete weirdo while I'm talking. So I'm going to turn the camera now and hopefully try and get Dom in the frame. Okay, here he comes. Okay, so obviously those of you who don't know Dom, he's the one in the red shirt and the red hat matching. He hasn't fallen over yet, but we remain hopeful that we will be able to capture that on film today. So what I thought I'd talk about is Dom and skating and Dom and hockey, because since I've known Dom, which isn't, you know, Dom and I got together when we were both in our mid-30s, about 35, and he came to Thailand to live with me and spend his life with me. You should probably know if you know anything about either of us. And he's always talked about skating a lot because it was a big part of his childhood, and it's also it's kind of it's his family as well. So his dad was a pro skater and a very extremely talented and highly regarded hockey coach, and his nephew, which is his younger sister's son, Rocco, is also, as far as I understand, an excellent hockey player. So Dom always jokes that the talent skipped a generation. His dad was awesome and Rocco's awesome, and Dom was kind of average. And I'll be honest, if he says he was average, he was probably average. I mean, he was probably good average because he had a lot of coaching, excellent coaching. But I'm guessing he wasn't a natural talent because, in all honesty, if Dom could skate, he would have admitted it. So, I was saying, before I was interrupted by Dom, anybody who knows Dom will agree that if Dom has a talent, he's not terribly shy about it. So I'm sure had he been able to excel on the ice in hockey, I'm not saying skating, he's good at skating, but I'm sure he was a good, solid, average hockey player, not a brilliant hockey player, because if he'd been brilliant, he would have told me, because he does. He's not shy about his talents. So, oh, he nearly went there. I live in hope. So I'm sure, hockey for him was something he enjoyed doing and at times hated doing, because as always, when your dad is passionate about something and they make you do it, it can be both a blessing and a bane. And I know that in his childhood, hockey was both. And then, as he got older, wrestling came along, and that's what took him away from hockey, really. He got his own thing, and I think that was probably as much as important as finding something that he was genuinely talented about, is finding something that was 100% his and not his dad's, and something that his dad did better. So wrestling was where he got to discover himself a little bit, and kind of forge his own identity, which anybody who is watched a young person grow up is absolutely crucial. So I feel that hockey for him is a complicated sport. One he loves to watch on TV, and one he's very, very excited to revisit and rediscover and come and play. The one thing that I think is absolutely essential about this rekindling of his hobby, that is that it's a very friendly league. The SHL guys that he's getting involved with, he's not playing for them, he videos them, but they're so friendly, and it's not all about competitive. Well, there's a little bit of friendly competitiveness, but that's not what really they're about. They are about, friendship and getting on well together. Well, she took a tumble and she didn't flinch. Good for her. So yeah, that I feel is really important, and why I'm not scared for him kind of revisiting this part of his childhood that was kind of bittersweet by starting to play hockey again. So what he's planning to do is keep videoing and podcasting the regular season for the FHL, but he's going to play a little bit of informal, I don't know, they call it shinny hockey or something, and they do that on Thursdays, I think, and that's what Dom's going to kind of join in with, which is the casual bit, and I'm kind of happy about that. So another thing that I wanted to reflect on a little bit was the fact that Dom always has a thing. So when we first, I can't even think what it was originally when we first met. The first thing that I really remember him getting into while he's been here in Thailand was yoga. And when he was into yoga, my God, was he into yoga. He breathed yoga. He was doing yoga every day. He did his yoga teacher training. And he became very sucked in. It can be a little bit cult-like, and I think the yoga thing, of all of the different hobbies he's had, the yoga probably freaked me out the most, because it brainwashed him a little bit, and I noticed him saying things that I felt, that's not you, that's an opinion that, it's not like a specific person's opinion that brainwashed him, it's just an opinion that he was giving that I felt wasn't something that authentically came from who Dom is, but it came from the kind of conversations that he was having and things like that. So that was it. Yoga was a weird one. It was good, it got him fit, it stopped us both smoking, so that was absolutely invaluable. And it's a great contribution to both of our health from that point of view, and the fact that you learn how to kind of respect your flexibility. So he's even doing yoga stretches now while he's on the ice. Good timing, Dom. So yeah, you learn how to kind of manipulate your body and sustain flexibility while doing other sports. So it's never a waste of time learning yoga. but I think it did originally suit me more than it suited Dom, but then things got complicated, and that's a whole other podcast. I won't go into how complicated that got. So the second thing, which was amazing, is he got interested in karate. And again, karate was something that he'd had in his past and let go of. Time, he lost his teacher went off to do different things, so he stopped doing karate in the States, and then was able to rediscover it here in Thailand. I'm really sick of holding this camera, so that's just going to go away for a little while. I'm just going to, actually I'll do that and talk to you for a little bit, because it's easier than trying to follow Dom around the rink. So yeah, with karate, I feel that it was good for him to kind of go back and finish something he'd started and felt that he hadn't had the satisfaction of seeing to any kind of conclusion. So while he was in Thailand, he started studying karate, and he managed to kind of progress very quickly up the levels from his white belt at the very beginning to, I think within 2 years he was black belt, and he got basically to black belt, and after a few months he stopped because hockey came back into his life. And it was mostly through his interest in vlogging and podcasting, and he talked about the things he used to do, and he went skating rather randomly. We went to a really tiny rink in Central World Plaza, and I said, oh, why don't you skate? And so he skated, and I videoed it, and he really enjoyed it, and I think he got quite a lot of likes. We shared it on Facebook and things like that, and it kind of rekindled that interest in skating, and he did a little bit of rollerblading as well when he was in Bangkok, but that's quite hard to do because of the road surfaces. So basically it wasn't a decision to totally give up karate, but hockey kind of took over through finding out about the SHL and vlogging for them and podcasting, and that got way more of a desirable commitment at the time. He would, if he'd had no need to work, I'm sure he would have found a way to keep up hockey and vlogging about hockey and also karate, but he has to work, so he couldn't do both, and he chose to suspend karate and do hockey, commit to the videoing the hockey. Now, at that same time, maybe fortunately he'd already made the decision to give karate a bit of a break, and we had to move. So the fact that he wasn't quite so emotionally tied to karate meant that we could view the whole of Bangkok as a potential place to live, and as you may know, we moved house and moved to a whole different area, so now he wouldn't really be able to go to karate. If that had happened when he was really passionately in love with karate, that would have informed our decision, and we'd have found somewhere not as good as where we are now, but with prioritising easy access to his karate dojo. Whereas now we are somewhere else and very happy, and he's firmly ensconced in this new hobby. And I feel that one thing that I kind of understand, when you get interested in things, it's very easy to be really passionate about them at the beginning, and then maybe kind of that initial passion wears off. And part of Dom's kind of change from yoga to karate to hockey, or to videoing to hockey, could be seen as that. But in a sense, there's a lot of unfinished business, I think, in his past. It'd be interesting when he's listened to this to get his opinion on it. And I feel that both the karate and, in a sense, this kind of dabbling with hockey is kind of revisiting some parts of his childhood that were incomplete, and he'd left. It's like he'd had a falling out with them. He hadn't fallen out with karate. He hadn't been able to complete his studies. And I feel that it's kind of the same as having a bit of a breakup with somebody and having no closure. So in a sense, going back to find karate and get his black belt, giving closure with that thing. And I think in a sense, hockey is also completing the circle, because he feels that maybe he failed his dad a little bit by not being the amazing hockey player that his dad had hoped he would be, and that has to hurt. So I feel that kind of coming back to hockey in a casual sense, not with a I'm going to show my dad I'm going to be a super hockey player, because he's not. He's 40. He might be good, but he's not going to be in the NHL, is he? So I feel that it is kind of making friends with his past and kind of closing the circle a little bit, and I hope that's what it is for him. I think the only other thing that I wanted to really talk about is the sense that all of Dom's hobbies are hobbies that in a sense keep him and I apart, in that he is so athletic and sporty, and I'm so not. And I remember when he was doing karate, one of the women that the karate studio had a lot of children, so it was one of the mothers, I think, not one of the, so I'm just going to take a break here because the girl just fell over and she hurt herself, so I'll take a break. I just didn't want to embarrass her because a young woman fell over and she's crying, so I just didn't want to catch it on video and go, oh yeah, I'm going to video you crying and have you sobbing into my mic. She's just good. She's got a kind of nice looking guy giving her a hug and another guy's videoing her, so she's going to be fine. What was I saying? Oh yeah, one of the mothers in the karate. I was talking about karate. One of the mothers who went to karate to watch her son, I think asked him, how does Tracy feel about you doing something that kind of is so athletic when she's so obviously not? And Dom kind of like, oh, she didn't mean anything, that was nice. And I think she had a bit of sympathy because she also felt she was a bit overweight. Although she totally wasn't, but you know, that's all relative, isn't it? Sometimes you feel like you are even when you're not, but I could tell you definitely she wasn't overweight, but she did worry about me having this sense of discrepancy, that Dom was athletic and sporty and amazing and talented, and I'm just this like fat person who's watching. But in many respects, although we're perceived as being a very close and together couple, I think we also do have hobbies that, you know, entertain us separately. So there's crossover. I can come and watch him skate like now, and a lot of it is, you know, videoing, and I can help him with video, and I have my own YouTube channel so that I also have an appreciation for and an interest in that aspect of things. But I definitely feel very strongly that I don't have to be involved with all of his hobbies, and I think it's actually good for him to get out and go and do stuff without me. And I would hate to be that couple that have to do everything together, because I'd end up doing his things, and that wouldn't be much fun. What he keeps passing by, I think he's like, why aren't you pointing the camera at me? I don't know. So I feel, again, with the hockey in particular, with this league, SHL, they're such nice guys, and so I feel really happy that Dom has got involved with them, because one thing he needs more than a hobby, and he needs a hobby, he needs things to keep him, especially physically active, because he can get kind of, I guess, he can abuse like food and alcohol a little bit if he's not pushing himself physically. He'll fall back into a lot of sitting on the sofa, drinking beer and eating crap. If he doesn't have a hobby that kind of forces him to need to have his body in a reasonable condition. And I'm speaking from experience because I'm the same, only not with the beer. But I feel that more than the sporty aspect and having the physical hobby, it is friendship, and that's been something that we had in Chiang Mai. But in Bangkok, since we came back to Bangkok, I don't think Dom's had quite such good friends. as we had in Chiang Mai. And so I feel very happy that he's found this group of guys who seem not only like dedicated, enthusiastic sportsmen, but solid people, good humans. They're good humans, and Dom needs some good humans in his life. So I'm really excited for him. So that's basically, I'm going to go back to panning on him now. He's looking a bit tired. I don't know how long he's been on the ice, but he's got to work. He's got to work it, to be honest, because he needs to improve his fitness. And his fitness has been based for a long time around static sports like martial arts, which has like insane amounts of stamina, and also yoga, which is good flexibility. But this is a much more aerobic kind of thing, so I guess he's going to have to work. But he'll do it. I know what he's like. If he wants to do something, he'll be out forcing himself to breathe deeply and improve his hearts. He only has one, I think, lung capacity or whatever it is. Anyway, I'm going to tie it up now because I'm clearly talking crap. And I just thank you, Dom, for the opportunity to play with your equipment and have this little ramble that I'm sure will need a lot of editing, but I'm not even going to touch it because it's Dom's equipment, so he can do the editing and turn it into something, or just throw it in the bin, and that's also fine. Okay, thank you. Bye.
So I'm excited and I'm a little bit nervous. It's been almost 30 years since I've played hockey, so like I said, I'm excited, but again, it's been 30 years. And I don't know if I can skate and shoot or skate and pass or, just a wrist shot or a snap shot or a slap shot. I have no idea. But it'll be fun. And Tracy's gonna film some while I'm on the ice. But yeah, and then I'll talk a bit more after I'm off the ice. But
if he can still breathe.
Yeah, exactly. I am so out of shape, but I'm also very excited and nervous at the same time. All right.
Please rate my show or leave a comment or make suggestions of what you would like me to talk about. You can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/Dom Dumais, on Twitter at Dom Dumais, or on Instagram, Dom_Dumais. Thanks a lot.